Welcome to our channel on near-death experiences, NDEs. We'll explore stories of people who've been on the brink between life and death, returning with new perspectives. These accounts offer a unique glimpse into existence, life's meaning, and the universe. Each video is a journey through transformative experiences and spiritual discovery. We're creating a space of understanding and sharing for these extraordinary stories. Whether you're here out of curiosity or seeking comfort, we hope to bring you peace and awareness. Join us on this journey of spiritual exploration. Every moment is an opportunity to grow and love. Thank you for being here with us.
In August 1985, when I was only 5 years old, I was traveling by boat on a lake in Canton, Ticino. I was bitten by a mosquito and developed encephalitis. I died and slipped into a completely reassuring black void, filled with comfort and freedom, without any pain or fear. It was a place where I felt completely at home. From afar, I saw a small light that was drawing me towards it. I felt as if I was falling towards that light at great speed, but I wasn't frightened. I arrived in the light. It was peace and joy, but above all, unconditional love. The light appeared as a shimmering, radiant cloud. I heard a voice in my head that came from within, and I knew it was God. Even though my parents never spoke of God and didn't even take me to church. I don't really know how I knew, but I did. Moreover, I felt as if this place was my true home. I was in this beautiful light that was God, surrounded by it and being one with it. The feeling was similar to, but much more intense than, when my father had taken me in his arms after a dog had bitten me, months earlier. Another beautiful light, smaller, joined us. It was a girl of about 10 years old who looked a bit like me. I could see that she knew me. We hugged and she said, "I'm your sister, my name is Willamette, like our grandmother who died a month before I was born." Our parents used the nickname Willie. They had planned to tell me about her later, when I was ready. We communicated without words, which now seems strange, but at the time felt natural. She kissed me on the forehead, and I felt her warmth and love. "You have to go back now, Sandy," she told me. "You have to save Mom from the fire. It's very important, you have to leave and you have to leave now." She said it with compassion and tenderness, smiling at me softly. "No, I don't want to," I replied. "Let me stay with you. Mom needs you to save her from the fire," she repeated gently. I cried like a selfish little boy, filled with terrible anger. I threw myself on the ground, sobbing and stomping, embarrassing everyone, I'm sure. They showed me a film where I saw my parents on Earth at my hospital bedside, very worried and frightened. They were touching me and begging me not to die. It made me very sad. However, I wasn't really ready to leave that beauty and those indescribable, wonderful sensations of that heavenly place. God chuckled and looked at me with great compassion. I couldn't really see his face, but I knew what he was thinking, smiling at my childish performance. Then he pointed to another light forming in the distance. My neighbor and dear friend Glenn appeared, shouting with authority, "Sandy, come home now." After that authoritative phrase, I immediately stopped crying and, a moment later, I was back in my body. I opened my eyes to see the relieved and happy faces of my parents. As soon as I could, I told them about my experience, which they initially dismissed as a dream. They told me that the day after I was admitted to the hospital, our neighbor Glenn had died of a sudden heart attack. He was a kind old man who always invited me, my brother, and the other neighborhood children to play with his 5 dogs. He loved children and gave us food, gifts, and sweets. His wife Rosa would eventually get tired of us and tell us to go home, but he would scold her, saying, "Rosa, never tell Sandy he has to leave. He can stay as long as he wants." Of all the children he welcomed into his home, I was his favorite. His death was such a trauma that I became angry with myself, feeling slightly embarrassed by my behavior. I had been a little hurt at the time. I only learned of his death after telling my parents my story. I described the welcome of my angel sister who greeted me, recounting everything she had told me. My parents were so shaken that they had a shocked look. In utter confusion, they stood up and left the room. After a while, they finally returned. They confirmed to me that they had lost a little girl named Willie, who died from accidental poisoning about a year before I was born. They had decided not to tell either me or my brother until we were old enough to understand the meaning of life and death. Regarding the need to save Mom from the fire, no one had any idea. My mother, who is helping me write all this, I asked her what would have become of her life if I had died, if I had done what I wanted and stayed in heaven. She replied, "I cried for months after Willie left us. If we had lost you too, it would have been like living in hell with fire and everything. Time will reveal it to us, but it seems that currently, this answer serves as another. I believe that one day we will see Willie again, and I will personally ask her what she meant. All of this has changed the life of the entire family. Now we go to church, and I do many things differently than before."
If you enjoyed this video or you're interested in the topics we cover on this channel, I'd be really grateful if you could subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future content. Share the video with someone you think might appreciate it. Thank you so much for your support. Preface: near-death experiences, NDEs, can be profound, life-changing events. Remember, NDEs are subjective experiences, not proof of an afterlife or a guide for living. Channel purpose: this channel shares NDE stories and information, providing a platform for open discussion without promoting specific beliefs. Disclaimer: this content doesn't replace professional medical or psychological advice. If struggling with mental health issues, seek professional help immediately. If you've had an NDE and need support, consult a therapist experienced with NDEs. We don't promote suicide or self-harm. If considering suicide, contact a prevention lifeline immediately. Suicide prevention resources: National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, 1-800-273-8255. Crisis text line, text HOME to 741741. Conclusion: we hope you find this channel informative. For questions, please contact us. Remember, suicide prevention is crucial. If you're struggling, seek help. You're not alone.